guys, I'm here in the desolate wilderness, the lifeless tundra. It's terrifying out here in the wilderness. It's been snowing for days now. Man, find some much needed rest. Yes, so here is the very vast tundra that I have found. Look at this. Look at this. This is the extent of the snow that I could find. And then another patch right here. Let me turn my rendering up a bit. So I have the Bobby mod, so it should be able to render the snow over here. Look, there's like a little patch of snow here. A little patch of snow here. A little patch of snow here. And then there's another patch. I'm not sure if it'll render. There's another patch of snow way over there, and there's even some ice. But look at this. This is just sad. But this world that I'm playing on is just full, or at least around this spawn, just full of hot biomes. So I guess that's why it's very hard to find the snow biomes. But I came here for really 2 blocks of snow. And if you can put 2 and 2 together, I need a snow golem. And while I was waiting for it to snow for this intro, which took a couple hours in real life, I went ahead and collected some coal and some iron and some copper and some cherry blossoms and saplings and even some sunflowers and some eggs because chickens don't spawn in the desert. So I collected some much needed stuff while I was out exploring. I pretty much cleaned out this whole Stony Peak area. So I'm going to go back with a lot of resources. But we need a snow golem. And this is actually a little bit out of order with how the rest of the episode is going to play out. But I felt like I wanted to show this. And I'll probably leave this igloo here. Yes, I started recording a couple weeks ago. And so this is a little out of order. But I wanted to show you guys what I was working with when I went out to get snow. And so whenever we get to the point of me creating the snow golem, you'll just know that I went on this mission and this is the snow biomes that I could find. Like just small patches of snow in the middle of the grasslands, which is kind of crazy. And like that's just like one snowy area on the side of the mountain. But it's going to be a little out of order. So I am going to flip back to the start of the episode, which is going to be me working on the boat and working and pretty much finishing up the Trident farm, which you can tell by the title of the episode is not, it didn't go well. And so you got to learn when to accept defeat sometimes. And I think I've accepted defeat, but nevertheless, it still works, but it just doesn't work very good. So I hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, so I've been running this for a while. You can see that I have a lot of zombies stocked up here. And that very last one has a trident. You just can't see it because of the cobblestone right here. But I was running into what I deemed an issue. So I was getting a lot of zombies and fish coming into the system, but I didn't get a single zombie with a trident go into my holding station in the boat. And so there's 2 things that could be happening. One is that I actually did not get a trident zombie, and that could very well be possible. But there is what is the odds? It's like a 6% chance. So if I get 33 drops, I should get 2 Trident zombies. 23 in total. And I didn't get a single Trident. So I could get bad odds. I could have been getting bad odds. And that's why no Trident zombie went through the system here. Or something's happening and the Trident zombies are dying with the rest of the zombies. I've also noticed that whenever I come into the sorting system, there's never a zombie sitting on this minecart. And there should always be, if the zombie doesn't have a trident, there should always be a zombie in this holding station because it's unpowered unless it hits the target block or unless another zombie from behind comes and hits this activator rail, and or this detector rail that will be here, and powers this next zombie to go. So I'm not sure why there's never any zombies sitting here. I don't know if it's a bug with the system. So what I'm going to do, or what I did, is I collected a good bit of zombies and I waited till I got one with the Trident. And I'm going to manually push in these zombies one at a time to see how this filter system works. I know that I can collect zombies. I want to see how the filter system works. That last guy has already killed one zombie in a minecart. You can kind of see right there, there's an empty minecart. And I want to say it destroyed another minecart because I killed a second zombie. Or drowned. I'm saying zombie, but I mean drowned. I killed a second drowned that was walking towards me, so I think the Trident killed one zombie and then got another drowned out of its minecart. So I'm going to try to block in that drowned before I do anything, because I also don't want to die while I'm working on this. So I am going to go block in real quick. He should be right here to my left. Boom. Okay. The first drowned should go in and land right here and sit here. Let's check that. Yeah, ow. Okay, he comes in, sits here. There should be no way that he moves out of that block. So he's sitting there. Yeah, let me push this guy. Okay, he's sent. Okay, that worked out. I don't know why they're landing on that block and not this block. They should be moving to this block. Anyways, they moved out of the placeholder here and they moved forward. So then I get the secondary one. Push him. Off he goes. That's a bug. I think I found a possible issue. The axolotl is not confined into that block over there. I think the axolotl may be coming over here and killing the drowned. And I remember seeing Etho. Had a honey block right here instead of glass. So I think I'm going to have to go get a honey block to keep that axolotl stationary. But I feel like that might be... I think that might be the cause here. So I've put together a pretty basic bee farm here. Or honey farm, however you want to say it. Just have a couple campfires under these blocks. And it took me forever to get these beehives. Like, I walked for like an hour and a half, maybe a little over an hour, out in the woods. And I had to go pretty far because I'm surrounded by jungle and desert, so there's not a lot of like the temperate forest with the oaks and birches nearby. But I did get a honey block, so I'm going to go and put the honey block where the axolotl was. So I cleared out this drowned, and it opened for the Trident drowned to come through. So hopefully he hits the chest and he doesn't get stuck here. He falls straight down. And he can start throwing tridents at this axolotl here. So let's see. Falls down. Oh, he threw the trident. He threw the trident. Oh. Okay. He's going in. This is beautiful. Wow. Okay, so it works. Everything worked beautifully. Okay, so the trident is still here. Awesome. That is great. So I think I'm done debugging the filter, the main filter with the Trident target blocks, I wanted to give you guys a little preview of what I had to change over here, because the issue that we're running into last episode with collecting squid and collecting salmon was that this minecart would pick up a squid or a salmon that fell in. We previously were having this minecart go underneath a string, and the drowned would be sitting in the minecart. And so if there was a string above the minecart right here, the drowned would hit that string, hit an activator rail, and make it turn. It would make the rail turn and go towards the filter. But if you have a squid or a fish in here, it cannot reach the string above it. So what I ended up doing, and it took me forever to find this, if you have just about any mob in a minecart, if you make it hit a fence with the pressure plate above it, the hitbox of whatever is in the minecart will hit the stone pressure plate. So we hit the stone pressure plate, which activates this piston, and so this is like a little flip-flop system. Activates this piston, which pushes the redstone block here, which activates, let me go back here. This redstone block will then activate this piece of redstone and will make this rail turn towards our filter system. And once it turns towards the filter system, it hits this detector rail. This detector rail will then make this piston push the redstone block back over here, so resets the system. So this rail is no longer powered. It goes back into the main loop, and then it's ready to be powered back on for the next mob. We additionally, when this detector rail is hit, we also will hit this dispenser here to dispense a new minecart. So this minecart will hit this pressure plate, fall down, will go to the right. When it hits this right here, this gets reset, a new minecart will be dispensed. So let me write in this and go in third person mode to show you guys how it all works. This stone pressure plate can detect just about any mob. It will detect a fish, it will detect a squid. The one thing that it won't detect, because its hitbox is so small, is a baby drowned. It may not also detect maybe a chicken if a chicken gets in here, but they float. So a baby drowned is the only thing that I have to worry about. So a baby drowned would get stuck in this system and continue to go through the system over and over and over and will never activate this pressure plate. So we're losing a little bit of efficiency. If we have a baby drowned with a trident, we're not going to be able to collect it. And I think I just have to be at peace with that. And it's such a rare thing that I'm not worried. So what we do for the baby drowned is I've put an activator rail right here. So if a baby drowned were to make it through this initial sorting, they will hit this activator rail, which, if you're not aware how this works, when a mob is in a minecart or you are in a minecart and you hit the activator rail, it will force the character or mob in the minecart out of the minecart. So by default, it'll force it to the right. So we have an open space here, and then I've put blocks above the activator rail itself and behind it. So whenever this minecart goes over the activator rail, the baby drown will go into this hole. It's so rare, I'm not putting a collection system here. They're just going to burn. And that's how I sort out everything. So this should be foolproof in its sorting. It will sort out squid, fish, drowned, and baby drowned. So the post that I got this idea from was from 2013. I'll go ahead and link it in the description. But I just love how even in 2013, the mechanics of Minecraft still stand true, which is awesome here in 2024. But I think I'm done with this filter system for now. Okay, guys, so I just said that I was done with the filter system, and this is like probably 2 weeks later. I just wanted to update you guys. I was indeed not done with the filter system. So I built a new collection system right here. So this is the old one. This is the one that I've been working on for the entirety of the episode up to this point. I built a new one here, and as you can tell, there's a much larger space for the drowns to spawn. So I'm hoping that this can kind of increase our efficiency of the drown farm. And if you guys weren't aware, or if you don't remember, this was the original drown farm here. I ended up closing it up because it wasn't collecting anything because it was in the ocean. Don't know why the efficiency was so bad. But it pulled the mobs from here and it brought them to right about here. And so this is where, if I can get in here, this is where the filter was. That filter that I've been working on for the entirety of this episode was right here. And it is not there anymore. So the original idea was to have a collection system here, filter them right in front of the ship, and then have them go up this water elevator into the ship here. Well, since the ocean biome is not collecting drown efficiently, I moved a collection system here, and since this collection system isn't very efficient in itself, it at least collects drowns, but it's not super efficient just because there's not a lot of space here. So I moved a second one here. This is still connected to the filter, and this is connected to the filter as well. But what I did was I made a much more polished version of this collection system. Don't mind this snow golem. I'm kind of out of order here, so pretend like you don't see that snow golem. So I have a collection system here. It's exactly the same as the collection system that I showed you earlier, except I put this nice cut stone to make it feel more polished, and it's more enjoyable to go and debug whenever it's not an eyesore. So it goes down this main line, and so this is where the collection system goes into the filter system. So I have one line coming from right here, which is the new one that I made. This is the old line. So now, instead of, I want to say about right here, it went off this line to the old filter system. Now it's coming down and just going straight into the filter system here. The reason I moved the filter system is so these lines are shorter. If both the collection systems are in the river now, I don't want the filters to be way on the other side of the boat. So I put it here just in case some of the chunks are loaded and some are unloaded. I didn't want anything weird going on. So I wanted to make them all close to the filter system. So I moved it here. You can see we have the axolotl with the honey block, the target block, and then we have the detector rail. I ended up moving these detector rails that push the drown out of this holding station a little bit further back, because what I was noticing, if I had the detector rail right here or right here, the detector rail would power the redstone and send off this drown. But since this detector rail was so close to the powered rail, it would hit the detector rail, drop down while it was still powered, and then just go straight into the campfire. So I moved the detector rails back. That way it hits this detector rail, it pushes this drown out, and then it is powered off by the time the new drown comes and lands here. But I just kind of wanted to update you guys on this. I know this episode is taking a good while to come out, and so I'm sorry for that, but life is just busy. And this also connects back to the boat right here. So it's still, and you can see we still only have one Trident guy. And so it's still a long rail to get to the boat, but at least the distance between the collection systems and the filter is a short line. And I also made it a little bit easier to access the filter. So I put a water, it's not a water elevator because I need to go up and down, so I can't really do a bubble elevator here. You can tell that we've collected a good bit of zombies. We haven't got a Trident yet, but it's just a matter of time because we know that it works. It's just not super efficient, so it's going to take a while. But I did run into an issue, or I found another issue, I should say. So sometimes the drown will come down here as they're supposed to. They will come down, but if they're not on the edge of these magma blocks, the minecart cannot pick them up. So say a drown comes down and lands right on the edge of the glass here. Well, its hitbox isn't going to be overlapping with the minecart, so it's just going to sit here and die. So what I ended up doing for this one over here is I ended up putting a snow golem at the bottom. So what the hope is, and I put fences right here as well. So what the hope is that the snow golem, when a drown falls down, will throw snowballs at the drown, which won't kill them, but will push them to the outside of these magma blocks. That way, every single drown that lands in here will get picked up by the minecart. I don't know if this is going to work. I have yet to test this out, and it takes so long for the drown to spawn, so it may be a while, but I may show you guys a clip of that. But that's honestly, I think, the last update that I'm going to make. Either this helps the efficiency, or this farm is absolutely horrendous in terms of efficiency. It will collect them, but if this doesn't work, I'm just going to accept defeat that it's not a good farm. It's not as efficient as I thought it would be, but that's okay. Sometimes you just have to throw in the towel. I'm accepting that this is going to be the last change I make to the farm, and however efficient it is however efficient it will be. And you just have to realize when to accept defeat and come to terms with reality. And so that might be what we do today. So I'm probably going to AFK for the last time for this farm, just to see if I can watch a drowned fall into the farm, and if the snow golem does help. I'm slightly worried that the snow golem may throw at an upward angle and keep the drowns from hitting the ground. So we will see. But yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on that. Okay, guys, we got one. Let's see. It looks like the snow golem does not attack the drown. But you can see what I'm talking about. The drown doesn't get picked up by the minecart. I don't know if the snow golem needs to be up one more level in order for him to see the drowned. I'm not sure. But I think I'm calling it quits on this project, and so I will just make do. It'll pick up a drown every once in a while, but there's actually another drown that I didn't get a video of, so that's 2 drowns in a row that get collected, or at least fall into the system, but don't get picked up by the minecart. So I don't know what % of drowns are actually getting picked up by this. It might be less than 50, which is not good. But I don't know a more effective way to do this. So I'm just going to stick with this and call it quits and accept that this isn't going to work. Let's see if it'll work with this guy. Let's see. They fall down. They don't get picked up. Yeah, look how far the hitbox is from. Oh, it's so close actually. Because the minecart sticks out into this block. It was actually really close to the hitbox. I just need a way to push these drowns ever so slightly in this direction. And I don't know how to go about that. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But that's going to be it. I'm accepting defeat. That's going to be it for me. I think I'm just going to work on the inside of my boat now and try to make the interior of the boat look not so rough and unfinished. So let's just scrap. We're not scrapping it. It's still going to collect drown, but we're going to lower our expectations for the outcome of it and start working on the boat. So that is quite unfortunate. Hey guys, so I'm here on the 2nd floor of my ship, and so this is where all my wool is collecting. I ended up dyeing all these sheep to get just a variety of colors, and I've got a whole chest full from all the AFKing trying to get the Trident farm to work. But yeah, so I have lots of different colors now, still getting more. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. Earlier, I showed, oh wow, look at that. Earlier, I showed a very temporary honey farm, and at least I think I did earlier. This episode's been a good bit of out of order, so I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyways, I made a temporary bee farm, and I wanted to make it more long-term and more efficient. So I have 6 modules. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beehives here. And so the way that this works, there's a lot of fluff in here. Let me try to show the gist of it. It's really like, this is actually the whole module here. So it's super small and compact. So I have a composter that I put to level 4. So this comparator is sending out a signal strength of 4 at all times. Well, a beehive can get up to a max signal strength of 5. So what we have here is this comparator is in subtraction mode. So if a signal strength, so we have a signal strength of 4 coming in from the side, and it will subtract or get subtracted from the signal strength entering this comparator. So if we have a signal strength of 1 from the beehive, subtract 4 from it, you get a negative value, so it just defaults to 0 because you can't have a negative. So the only time this outputs any signal strength is if this is a signal strength of 5 or a very full beehive. So when this is level 5 of a level 5 hive, it sends out a signal strength of 5. This subtracts 4 from it, so only at a signal strength of 5 will this send out a pulse. Let me get back here. So this comparator sends a pulse out to this redstone, which powers this target block, which then powers this dispenser, which has the honey jars. And then under here, you can kind of see it through the azalea leaves here. We have our hopper. So when this dispenser dispenses a glass bottle, it'll shoot it out from the bottom, and this hopper will pick it up. So if there was a solid block under this beehive, it would actually put the glass bottle in above this azalea leaf. But since we have a hopper right below the beehive, when it pushes the bottle into this block, it defaults to getting picked up by this hopper before it actually goes into this empty space. And so the reason I have this composter here is to minimize lag. If you put a composter above a hopper or any block in particular, composters, I think there's some Minecraft research that shows that composters reduce lag the most. So I have a composter above every hopper, and then anytime I have a hopper that needs to go down, I put a pot here. So we have a hopper under this composter that's pushing into this pot. The pot then pushes it, or the hopper below it pulls it from the pot, puts it in this pot, and then the hopper under this composter or under this pot pulls it, and then the hopper line goes here into the barrel. And so that's where all 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all 4 of these beehives go into this middle line, into this chest here, or this barrel. And then the 2 lines over here feed in from the sides. And so this looks absolutely terrible. So what I'm going to do is I am probably going to do something with wood here and probably strip it. I really like this strip wood look here. I want to still be able to see the beehive, but I want to minimize all the mess. So I don't want you to be able to see the hoppers. I don't want to be able to see the target blocks. We might have to be able to see some of the hoppers just with how this is set up, but I want to make this look prettier, and I need a way to access the back because I'm having to manually fill up all of these dispensers. And so it's kind of a pain, but again, this is a very slow farm. I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I'm going to beautify this, and on that, I don't think I showed you guys this here. So if I turn this on, you can hear all the clicking. It's an automated lichen farm. So I can just sit here and it automatically collects it. And so it's collecting the glow lichen. And let me turn this off. And then I have the bone mill right here. So what it does is when I pull this lever, it pushes an observer that is looking at an observer. So they just go back and forth. They continue to send a pulse. Yeah, see, it's right there. And it continues to send a pulse. I don't think you can see it. There is a dispenser. Yeah, right there. So it sends a pulse to the dispenser over and over and over. The good thing about glow lichen and dispensers with bone meal is that if glow lichen can't grow, it doesn't use up a bone meal. So if I sit here and it's constantly going, I'm not actively wasting bone meal. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty efficient, and I'll send the link in the description for this. But now I can just manually get some glow lichen, or I guess it's more automated, but it's kind of like semi-automated, but a lot more efficient than going caving or having to manually bone meal. I'll probably put a couple more small redstone things here. I might, because I got all this snow. I might put a snow golem here and have a snow farm. So I may do something like that. But I'm going to make what I do have in here look better. So I'm going to clean up this beehive farm, and I'm going to clean up this lichen farm here. But yeah, I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. Guys, it has been over an entire year since I've last recorded a section of this episode. I just stopped playing. My kids started getting older, started to play with them more, started doing stuff around the house, and so I just stopped playing. And yeah, I decided that I might start the server back up. I don't know how many of you are actually watching, and I looked at where it was in this episode, and I was working on this section, so I finally got around to finishing it. So I had this lichen farm. All the lichen goes right here. So if I turn this on, I just sit here, and it collects all the lichen. Some of it goes into my inventory. The rest of it goes here. I have a little trap door, so I can put all the bone meal in here. And then this is the snow golem that I said I would add. And so you can see I've already gotten some here. If I get this right angle, you got to get it just right because there's a piece of mud on the back right here. And so I have hoppers under here. And so all the hoppers will pick up the snow. I can make some snow here. I'll just put it back. I also updated this little walkway here. And this is now the bee area. So tons of honey and tons of honeycomb blocks. So you can tell that I've been doing some work around the server. I made an easy entryway into the redstone back here. I have one extra bee. He's just been sitting in that glass, poor guy. But yeah, ease of entry. I can work on the mud farm. You can see, yeah, the mud right here. So it's easy to get to. Yeah, I think this is a nice little cozy area right here. I'm honestly fitting a lot onto this boat. I have a sheep farm, snow farm, lichen farm, bee farm, and then this mud generator right here. I don't have any dirt, so I can't put any on. But you guys have seen it. Mud generator here. So this entire level is really nice. But guys, I need to have a real talk with y'all. I got hacked. My server got completely hacked. So you might not notice that. You might think, oh, this looks like the same world that you were playing on a year ago. And you would almost be correct. This looks very close to the world that I was on a year ago. This entire area looks just about how it was an entire year ago. But you know what's different? I have a lot of chests here that used to be here. I had all of my resources in chests right here, all my diamonds, all my ores. I didn't have these chests. You know what these chests are filled with? These chests are filled with cobblestone. These chests are also filled with cobblestone. I got griefed so hard. I'll just show you guys. I'll show you guys what I was working with here. So there's a giant lava cast all over my entire base. So it's not only over my granary and farm, it's also over my watchtower. They did a lot of work here. Also the boat, I guess from the lava casting, some of the lava hit the boat and it just burnt it all down. So this is the second boat that I've had burned down on the server and had to rebuild. Again, look at the watchtower. So they didn't only destroy the watchtower, they also destroyed the trees outside of the watchtower. And the entire inside, because it's all bookshelves, just burnt. All the wood burnt, gone. Also the farm, all my villagers dead. All the farm destroyed. You can look up, and this thing was not hollow. I mean, there were some holes, but it was not hollow. Again, the granary destroyed. Entire thing destroyed. Yep. Look at all this. Look at all this cobblestone. Tons of cobblestone. So much cobblestone. Absolutely bonkers amount of cobblestone. There's some stone here. I smelted some stone and some smooth stone. Some sand. And then just kind of miscellaneous stuff. This is all my minerals I have. I had to get everything back. And I had like a giant chest of stuff, if I remember correctly. And this is all I have. 8 diamond blocks. There's redstone. I need lots more redstone. I plan on doing redstone stuff. But yeah, tons of cobblestone. I also have chest of cobblestone over here. That's all cobblestone except for, I think, that one. But I had to rebuild the entire granary. So I went into my old videos and would just stop the video at different points and get segments and just copy the whole thing back. So it looks similar to what it was. I think almost exactly the same, except maybe some of these pots are different. What's in the chest is different. Got a good bit of azaleas, dirt, not much food at all. I do have this wheat because, as you can imagine, destroying a bunch of cobblestone, you're in this area for a long time. So this wheat just stacked up for a while. All my seeds are stacked up, so I'm starting to get bone meal as this builds up. Yeah, I had to rebuild this whole thing. Watch a bunch of old videos. I had to rebuild the boat. I don't know if you guys noticed, but the sheep down there were all white. And the last segment of the clip before 1 year ago, like before I'm re-recording all of this, they were like orange and purple and different random colors because I was just trying to stockpile colors. But I had to make them all white because I needed wool for the top, and it's spawn proofed again because you can put like carpet at the top so they can't spawn, monsters can't spawn there. But I had to rebuild this whole thing again. Watching the video for the mast and the sail here was pretty difficult to see because I didn't have a close-up to it. I was like in a boat over here in the video and looking from a distance, so I had to just copy one side and then mirror it, and I had to zoom in on the video, so kind of difficult. I had to recopy all these trees, which is crazy because these trees are not flammable. So they didn't burn the dripstone. They actually mined out the dripstone. And what they did... I don't have blocks on me. I'm going to actually mine out a little bit to show you guys what they did. So they made like a staircase like this. And you can imagine this diagonal going all the way up. And at the very top, they poured lava down it. And then they poured a water bucket on top of that lava, and so you had these giant ridges of cobblestone coming down. So they destroyed my trees in order to get supplies so they could build up these diagonals and pour lava down it. They didn't really destroy the bridge. I forgot about the noise on this because all the pressure plates. They didn't really destroy the bridge. Some of the lava got here and burnt it down. I rebuilt this entire library. The only thing missing in this was that all the books on this wall got lost. I don't even know if I had books in that, but a lot of my books still stand. So I should have mending book right here. That is a mending book. So that's kind of a silver lining, a saving grace. So that was nice. I had to rebreed all my villagers, and I will show you guys something that was a huge help. So I don't know if y'all remember, but under here, I have my farm. And so this did not get destroyed, praise the Lord. That would have been a lot of work to do. So this is still collecting a bunch of wheat for me. Is this running? Is this side not running? Oh, did it do the thing? It does this every once in a while. Yeah, okay. That's not been running for a little while. I fixed it. But generally, this has been working. But I put smooth stone here because I spent a lot of time down here. This was the biggest factor in me being able to rebuild everything. I had 3 villagers left. I guess they didn't kill all of them, but they killed some of them. So I was able to breed, I think it was 2 of these. I was able to breed 2 of these guys and repopulate this whole thing. and repopulate my farm because I had no villagers left in my farm. So this was this big saving grace. I had to trade so much in order to keep the mending up on these pickaxes. So as you can imagine, farming a bunch of cobblestone, you run out of pickaxe use. And I actually wasn't paying attention when I was mining out for a little while, and I broke my fortune. So I had to rebuild my fortune pickaxe. So all the villagers down there have like mending and unbreaking and efficiency 5. I was able to get the books back and rebuild the pickaxe. Also had to rebuild all the wood. Apparently campfires are not flammable, which is kind of ironic. So all these slabs burnt down, but not the campfires. And then all the fences and these trapdoors. Actually, I don't know if the trapdoors burnt, but a lot of this burnt down and I had to rebuild. Guys, please, 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 if you ever make a server, put a whitelist on it and only put your name and the name of the friends that you want to play on your server in that whitelist. Because otherwise, you'll just have random people joining your server. Apparently, I had about 10 people join the server over the past year and a half. And most of them did not grief because most of them had logs that were earlier than my last log out. So people had still been logging on and I guess looking around, looking at the boat. Maybe I'll travel the world and I'll find that there's like a little house somewhere. But they've been logging on to the server, but none of them griefed until really a few months ago. So it was pretty close to when I started getting back on is when the latest people logged on and griefed. So yeah, please put a whitelist on your server, and I'm excited to start back up. I have some plans. I want to put a super smelter right here. That'll probably be for next episode. But before I log off, I guess you guys remember. So in my mind, all this stuff is happening a year ago, but if you're watching the video, this may have been like 5 minutes earlier in the video. So bear with me if I keep saying, do you guys remember? Because y'all probably remember. But I was working on this Trident farm, and Hermitcraft Season 7 just released, and I was able to see how Etho did his collector. And it's so simple. You just put trapdoors here, so the drown think that they can walk to the egg. I don't have an egg on there right now. They think they can walk to the egg, and you have the gates around it, so they'll walk in to the egg and then fall down and get in my collection system. The collection system is exactly the same as what I showed you guys, where we have the axolotl and the trident. Oh, this is a pain to swim here. So I finally have a working collecting system once I put that egg there, and it's also mirrored over there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I am gonna log off. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry that it took literally over a year to finish this. Pretty wild, but I'm probably going to keep putting out videos very irregularly, just as I have time, and I don't have a lot of time a lot of times. So yeah, I hope you enjoy whenever they do come out, but bye.